Hi guys, welcome to Tuko Bites. I'm Chef Rachel, and today we'll be making beans, commonly known as Maharagwe to most Kenyans like me. So let me take you through the ingredients and let's get started. So for my ingredients, they are simple, they are easy, and they're amazing, of course, and they're locally found. I have an onion, I have garlic, I have carrots, I have hoho, capsicum, I have tomatoes, I have Maggi cube. For the cube, you can even use vegetable cube, still work out perfectly for you. I have black pepper, I have mixed spices, I have curry powder, I have my beans here, and some milk. So for the milk is to reduce the acidity in the beans so that when we consume the beans, we don't get heartburns and those kind of things. So that's why I always use milk, and it has worked for so many years for me ever since I started cooking. So let's do our mise en place, and then when you're done, we'll move on to the next step. So I'll start with my garlic. I'm going to fine chop it. So in my beans, I've always believed it's about building the flavors so that it doesn't feel flat or tasteless or like, like it has just been boiled. So with the beans, the only secret is building up the flavors as much as you can get. So for me, that works perfectly with the garlic because of the aroma. It just tastes on another level. My garlic is done. I'm just going to put it aside here. And then I'll move on to the onion. For my onion, I'm going to cut into nice thin juliennes. So for the onion, I'm not going to fine chop it because I want them a bit visible in my beans when I add them there. And this will help in increasing the flavors as well. Put it aside too. And make sure your vegetables or whatever you're using, you wash them properly before. Like mine are washed, if you're wondering. So always make sure you wash them properly because of the chemicals that are used. Make sure everything comes out because it can be harmful for your health. With my tomatoes, I'll also cut them the same way. And in my beans, I always like using enough tomatoes to give it that color so that it doesn't look like too brown, too plain. I don't like it. So I use enough tomatoes, but I rarely use tomato paste unless I don't have enough of the fresh tomatoes. Then I'll add in some little of tomato paste, and it always works. So I'll also put the tomatoes aside. So for the hoho, I'll only use a little bit. This is just for the aroma because personally I love the way the green capsicum smell, like the scent. I love it so much, and I like what it does to food when you add it, especially when it's raw. Like when your food is ready and then you just add it on top, it's just amazing. So I'll just use a little. I'll also cut it into julienne. And when you cut it, it doesn't have to be very fine. So however you choose, however big you like it, or small, is still fine. And then I'll move on to my carrots. So for my carrots, because I've decided I'm going to grate them. And if I grate them, I normally don't peel them because I don't see the need of removing the skin, and yet I'm going to grate them. But if I was to cut them into maybe juliennes or rounds, I'll peel them. But this way, there is no need, so I'll just grate them. And as you grate something, always be careful and take care of your fingers so that you don't hurt yourself. My carrots are ready too. So my mise en place is ready, everything is ready. So I'm going to clean up my surface and then you're going to move on to the next step. So here in my sufuria I have some oil. It's nice and hot. So I'm going to start with the onions. So as you add in your onions, that's the sound you want to hear, trust me. For you to know that your oil was ready and it was hot, like it had reached the boiling point of oil. By the way, oil has a boiling point too. So the oil, we are going to fry the onions until they are golden brown, not burnt, just a little bit brownish. And then from there, we are going to add in our garlic. So we're going to give it time until the water in the onions reduces and the color changes. So as you can see, my onions are ready. They are not burnt, they are well cooked, they are golden brown. So this is what you want to achieve, and this gives it that nice oniony taste. You eat the beans. So from here, I'm adding the garlic. For the garlic, we'll give it a few seconds, 1 or 2 seconds to cook as well. Don't burn the garlic, because if you burn them, it's going to change everything in the beans. And then we are adding in the tomatoes. So as you cook, you can smell like the aroma of the onions. You can get to smell them really nicely, and the tomatoes. So remember from here, if I had cut my carrots into any other shape, I could have added them immediately, but since I grated them, they won't take a long time to cook. So what you're going to do is give the tomatoes about 5 minutes to cook completely until they are done, for them not to have that sour taste. And then from there, we're going to move on to the next step. So I'll let my tomatoes cook, give it time, enough time to cook until they are tender, they are soft, the sour taste is gone. And then we'll add in the next of the ingredients until the end. So the tomatoes are well cooked, as you can see. So you'll know the tomatoes are cooked when the tomatoes separate from the oil like this. Like it's like they drift away from each other. Yeah, I'm just saying. So that's how you know your tomatoes are ready and they're well cooked, as you can see. Because if I do this, the oil remains behind, but it doesn't mean you pour the oil out. No, you'll still need it. So from here, I'm adding the carrots, and then you mix it to give it about a minute or so. So remember, the carrots, they won't take long to cook, so you don't have to stress yourself so much. And then after this, I'm adding the mixed spices, and then I add in some black pepper. So I'm adding in some curry powder. So all these spices will help me build the flavors in my beans. Already you can smell them. Oh my god, this is so nice. So hope you can see the paste for the beans like that. So we mix them for about a minute or so, and then I'm going to add in my beans. And then you mix slowly, and then I'll add in my Maggi cubes, and then I'll leave it for a minute or so, like just a minute. That will be enough for the spices and the beans and the onions and the tomatoes to infuse into the beans first, before we add in some water and some milk to give it a little bit of stew. Okay, so I'll add in some water and some milk, and then I'm going to mix everything together. So hope you can see that, you can see the color. And then from here, I'm just going to put my capsicum on top like that for the aroma, as I mentioned earlier. And then, in short, I'm done. So we let it simmer just a little bit for a minute or two, and then it will be ready for service. And remember, so it should be on low heat, and then you just let it simmer kidogo tu, kidogo. So So I've decided to serve mine with rice. You can always decide to serve with whatever you have at hand. It can be chapati, potatoes, matoke, rice like me. So my dinner is ready, and trust me, you need to try out this and tell me how it was for you. I know mine is just amazingly good. So I'm going to eat, and I hope I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, and leave a comment. Bye.